Do any of you know an adult who's not self-aware? Yes. Do any of you know an adult who lacks empathy or responsibility? Yes. Okay, so your answers are terrific, and I would say that your answers are really the things that you need to be a good adult. But the things that you need to be an adult are actually much more basic, and that's what your kids are starting to work on right now. So the 3 things that are part of the middle school construction project, starting at about age 11, that your child begins to build to become an adult, are first, you need an adult body. And that's something that we sort of overlook and get, sort of grossed out. Oh gosh, I don't want to think of my baby that way. But you have to have an adult body to become an adult. So that's the first one, and it's the easiest one actually for us because, first of all, we can see it happening, right? So we can kind of track progress, and also it's linear. So as your kid begins to develop their adult body, they don't then regress, right? They tend to move forward in time, and you see that happening, and so we can wrap our brains around that. The second thing that everyone needs to build is an adult brain, and that's where things get a little trickier because we cannot see that happening. And also it's not linear. So you will be raving one day, I cannot believe how responsible and mature so-and-so has become. Like, this is amazing. And then next week you're like, what a jerk. I can't believe he can't even, close the refrigerator when he's done eating and he's complaining about everything. And so it's 2 steps forward, 10 steps back all the time. And that's really frustrating. We're gonna talk in depth about what's going on there. The third thing that every kid begins to build in middle school is an adult identity. And this is my favorite one, and this is the hardest one to understand. So essentially, an adult identity means an identity apart from you. So your child has always been sort of your mini-me, right, tucked under your wing, and you have taken care of everything for them, and they're one of your appendages. And then beginning at about age 11 is when your child looks around and says, oh, I can exist out there. And I'm going to exist out there, and I have to figure out how to do that. And so that often looks and feels contrarian and argumentative and defiant, and it's upsetting to us as parents, but helpful to remember that in order for your kid to one day grow up and live outside of your home and to hopefully have a really healthy relationship with someone else outside of your family, they have to figure out their identity. If they don't go through that identity development stage, that's when you find adults who are in toxic relationships. They can't make them work. They're looking for love in all the wrong places because they haven't nailed that identity phase. So when you're pulling your hair out with why is my kid arguing with me on all of this stuff, and why is my kid suddenly saying that they disagree with everything that we have always believed in together, that's why. They're trying to figure out who they are apart from you, and that can get really messy, but it's so important, and it's something that you will want. So by now, most of you have a little piece of paper with 3 words in front of you. I want you to look at the first word on your sheet and rearrange the letters and form a different word. And you need to use all the letters in your word. Who got the first word? Someone tell me what you got. Melon? And what did it say on your sheet? Lemon. So you turned lemon into melon? Terrific. Who got the second word? Yeah. Tab. And what did it say on your sheet? Bat. So you turned bat into tab, right? Awesome. How is this side of the room feeling? Not so good? No? All right. Tell them your first word. Whirl. W-H-I-R-L. Whirl is impossible. Tell them your second word. Slapstick. Also impossible. But your third word was what? Cinerama. And I saw some people over here get it. A harder word than bat or melon, but some of you raised your hand. American is the third word. Now, this side of the room, by the time you got to your third word, what were you thinking? Say it. What were you thinking? I'm a loser. Yeah. I'm dumb. I can't do this, right? Okay, so what we just demonstrated in less than 60 seconds is a concept called learned helplessness. And learned helplessness is when a person learns to be helpless really quickly. So you can see how this would happen in a math class, right? So you try a couple math problems and then you say to yourself, I suck at math. I'm a writer, I'm not supposed to be good at math and writing, so I'm just not even gonna try at math anymore. I'm just gonna focus on what I'm good at. I'll just get through on math. That's what happened to me. Anybody else have that experience? Yes. And so you believe that you're not very good at it, even if you might have tried the next problem and gotten it, or had a teacher explain it to you in a different way and then gotten it. But our brains are so quick to believe if we can't do something to stop, right? So some of you didn't, I don't think you tried on the third one, right? It was like, okay, I am not good at this, forget it. And it's even worse when you hear them getting it so quickly. Like, easy peasy, you guys, we can do this really fast, quick activity, and they're raising their hands, they're shooting up, this is so simple. And so you guys just unplug like that, right? So I asked you to put a bookmark in my story because my story is an illustration of another kind of learned helplessness. And for a long time, people only studied the concept of learned helplessness in terms of academics, but it really applies to our kids' social lives as well. And so I walked into a school wearing the wrong thing and believed after about 30 seconds that I didn't belong, that I didn't know how to make friends. And then I had that reinforced when I had two friends who kind of went off to the side and rejected me, and I was like, well, I have all the evidence I need, right? I am not good at this. Nobody likes me, I'm not gonna be able to make friends, I'm done. And I believed that really quickly. Now, the only thing that can combat learned helplessness is experience. You cannot sort of logic your way out of it. You cannot say to your kid, but you're darling and I love you and everyone else will love you too, right? They do not believe you. Or, but I think you'll be great at math if you just try harder, right? They're not gonna buy that from you. They have to have an experience in which they have some success. That is the only thing that changes it. It's the only thing that changed it for me, was auditioning and getting in and then going, oh, this can be different, right? So part of what we have to do as parents when our kids are in middle school is open up that buffet for them and let them try a lot of different things. Because they have to find a moment where they have some success. And sometimes that maybe your assistant manager role has to push a little harder to get them to try something if they're not going to, or be a little more flexible on what they're doing. Get them engaged with another group of kids in another town at another scout troop, whatever it is, to sort of push them past that moment and give them that little bit of success. It may happen in a way that you never thought or wanted. Maybe your child will have social success online, and you thought, oh, no, I'm avoiding that like the plague, right? But your child has to have some moment where they feel successful, liked, you know, something like that they can grab onto in order to kind of get past that. And for me, it was drama. And for many kids, I think theater is actually a really wonderful way to do that because theater is a place that embraces difference and uniqueness. So activities like that are really crucial during middle school. Have you had an experience where your child comes home from school and you say, hey, how did that math test go? And your kid is like, why are you getting mad at me? I don't even know, we didn't get the grade yet. And you're thinking, oh my goodness, I just asked you how it went, right? And they assume you're mad and they storm off. Two things have happened. One, they are not using the part of their brain that they need to use. This is a real handicap on being able to read your face. So they're trying to read your face using their emotional center, which does not work very well. And the other thing, they have spent all day being judged. All day being judged by their peers. They come home and you say something to them and they read this facial expression as anger and they're like, I am done. Up to my room, I'm not talking to you anymore, because they can't do that in the hallway to their peers, right? They'll look like an idiot, but they can do it to you, you're safe. So the easiest thing that you can do to keep the door of communication open between you and your child through middle school and through high school is to have a neutral expression on your forehead. It sounds ridiculous. It sounds too easy, but parents tell me all the time, this is the game changer. Now my kid tells me all kinds of stuff. Because if you're like me, when you talk to your child, you might do this on purpose. I do, because I'm like, I'm showing you that I'm really listening to you right now, even though I'm trying desperately not to forget that I have that work email that I haven't responded to yet, but I'm focusing on you, right? Or you're like me and you're 43 and you just have like an 11 right here. Or you have a headache, or You're trying to look like you have some empathy for what they're going through, so you're really scrunching up your face to show I'm hearing you, I have empathy. All of those, your kid reads as anger every time.